Moldy. Ah, God. All right. Right, so I have music in one ear. That's why I'm laughing. Because, I mean, I expect these members only live stream to be empty at times. But it's just so funny that in all of my liked songs on Spotify, um, it opted to play the Sound of Silence one from Simon and Garfunkel. The only thing that's missing is a fade to black and white and some grainy texture, I guess. Sorry. Oh, Auntie Patience, hello. Hey, it's nice to see you. How are you? I hope you can hear me. I'm guessing you can, but I'm just low. I can hear. Okay, good. No worries. No problem. Yeah, I really like them too. Though I haven't painted a lot with them yet. But they, they sit at exactly the right spot, considering they're basically all the same price or, close enough. So they're probably at the moment the most high quality and most affordable paints, like the Venn diagram of these two factors. I think that there's only Rosa in that spot for now. So it took some gymnastics, but I was able to get all of the colors. I have all of them. So I'm swatching the few colors that I was still missing. They finally arrived from Ukraine. So yeah, I'm swatching them, and then I'll have the sort of full range. I'm so jealous. Aw. I mean, it's a seller on Etsy, so I'm pretty sure you could eventually get all the colors from them too. And you're so much closer to Ukraine that it would probably get there much faster. But yeah, I'm really liking the colors. I love that they kind of went into the trend of making granulating colors, but they didn't go at it in a boring way. In my opinion, a company like White Knights went at the granulating colors in a really boring way because they mostly started by mixing Mars Black, the granulating black color, into other colors, into transparent colors. So it's interesting, but it's not as inspiring, like when you look at those colors, you're just like, oh, it's phthalo green with some black granulation. It's not like when I look at a color like jade green where I'm like, ooh, I wanna paint something with that, like a tree, a rock with some moss or something. Also, that's perhaps because I have a more illustration based focus. Perhaps the other colors are more appealing for different styles or topics. Oops. I know I'm supposed to leave the label on to label the pans, but I started this way, I'm gonna end this way. I have the monopigment and classic set so far. Ooh! I don't have any sets. I just got open stock. It was a weird rabbit hole because it started when I noticed that a local seller was selling all of their Rosa pans for like something like $3 per pan Canadian. So that's already like a significant discount. But then at the same time, or just about, they were on sale on Jackson's for about $3.50. And then I kept finding places where they were on sale, and I was like, okay, I get it, I get it. I like the way you're swatching them wet on it. For me, that's the best way to get a non-streaky swatch on cheap paper. This is like cheap paper. So you can see some of my swatches are kind of streaky. That's because I had forgotten that I really should sort of wet the paper first, at least a little bit. And then when you add the color in, it spreads more evenly and it makes for a sort of nicer swatch. Also, another thing that's good about this range is that there's not that many colors so far. So it is sort of a big expense, but it's not, that big. Am I trying to justify it to myself? Perhaps, but I know you guys get it. See, it's a whole lot more forgiving to swatch on a patch of wet paper than to swatch on, you know, completely dry paper. My swatches are streaky. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could try. I think with Ash, the issue is gonna be finding the right ratio, like how wet to keep your brush, how wet to keep, you know, everything. Because I use Ash a lot, and even when I paint swatches, I did some swatches today and yesterday on Ash paper. Hold on. They're for a coming video, and they're on, you know, the good paper, because the good paper goes bad, so you gotta use the good paper. And even if they're on the good paper, for the big one, this one here, I still pre-wet my square. And then you drop in the color, and it gives you more time to sort of set up the swatch in the way you want. The only issue with pre-wetting the swatch area is that it's really easy to forget to do it. And then you're like, ah, crud. And you have one swatch that's really streaky. Dang, it's some really sticky sticker. I'm really excited because I have quite a few like cool new colors to swatch. This is magenta gray, which looks exciting from the, you know, pigments. Then I have violet quartz that I know is awesome. I have royal green. I'm really excited to swatch as well. I know I have the deep blue, royal blue on the other page that I'm also really looking forward to see. Yeah, I've been able to get it through that seller that I'm talking about. That's on Etsy. But since they're located in Ukraine directly, like, she has access to all the colors, basically. This is always the kind of not fun part of writing everything on the pans, but it's the part you're probably the most grateful for after. Like, if you keep adding paints to your collection, at some point it becomes impossible to remember what's what. Yeah, the monopigment one. It's gonna be in the next box, and the next page. So that's magenta gray. I'm really interested in this color because it's a mix of a granulating green and a bright transparent magenta. So you get this sort of dusty rose colored, but that's not boring at all. It's very, like, it has the vibrancy. It's basically this pink with, hold on. Okay, so it's this green here, chromium oxide. This specific swatch is not particularly granulating, but the pigment can granulate. So it's this green and this pink mixed together, which gives you this beautiful, like, dusty rose kind of color. Hold on, do you want me to check for the name of the seller, or I can send it to you on Discord later? It's a bit complicated. And yeah, it ships from Ukraine, and the shipping costs was really not that bad. Like it was something like between $10 and $15, which is, amazing for shipping to Canada, because most of the time I see shipping costs around like $20-$25, and sometimes it's more than the price of the thing I'm trying to purchase, which is really annoying. You're like, oh, I would really like to try this $15 thing. How much is shipping? $25. Oh, yes, please, but no rush. Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'll get it to you later if I don't forget, and if for some reason I forget, I'll get it to you ASAP. But man, the lady who has the Etsy shop, she's still in Kiev, I think. And I was like, dude. I will do what I can to support this one person artist living in a war torn country. Like, holy moly. Violet quartz, also really excited to try this one. Oh, 3 pigments. Okay, okay. I think I may know the shop you're talking. Yeah, it's something like a Zvonko Studios or something. Like Z or ZVONKO. Absolutely, me too. Yeah, I'm glad. With the way things are in the world right now, I would be really pressed if it happened that artists generally have a lot of varying opinions on things. I feel like most creative people, there's a stronger focus on certain values, and I think that's completely normal because of creativity and all that. And I'm kind of glad for that at the moment. Not that I want to get into politics, but I'm not able to separate the artists from their work. So if I happen to find out that a lot of the people I like to chat with had really diverging views on important topics, I would really be bummed out. Yeah, Zvonko Art Studio, that's her. Oh man, that's cool. Did I pre-wet it? I think I pre-wet it, but I talked too much. Or perhaps I forgot. Oops. I'll manage. I'll just add a lot of water. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's beautiful. Holy moly, that's a pretty color. I know exactly what you mean, and I feel the same. Yeah, yeah, that's what you were mentioning to me. Alright, second box. How do I set this up? I'm gonna push box number 1 under box number 3, and then, okay, like this. Wonderful. Oh, tea break. It's getting really hot here. It's supposed to go up to like 32 Celsius here today. So I'm kind of staying hidden in my cave in the cold. Well, cold-ish. And I'm drinking cold stuff and eating like toasts. It's amazing. For once that cold tea is really enjoyable. It's when it's really hot. This is a cold spiced tea. Oh, it's good. It's a good spiced tea. Okay. Ooh, royal green. Cool, cool. Holy cow, I've got a woolen shawl. Dude, do you want to switch, please? Actually, I think I'm gonna wait for you to come back so you can enjoy with me the testing out of this color, because I'm super excited to test this one. But I kind of don't want to test it alone. I want to test it with someone who will equally appreciate. Hold on. Cold tea. Who would have thought? Everything. Looking at the colors on the video, and they all look kind of really bright, like the reds and the pinks. They kind of look almost neon on my screen. They're not that bright in person. I really wonder what's for supper. Okay, no more tea. Oof. You know how the bottom of a teacup always has all the bits of whatever was in the tea? It's a bit like the last gulp of a bowl of soup. That's usually where all the pepper ends up. So like finishing a bowl of like chicken noodle soup is always like a punch in the face a bit. All the pepper at once. There's a couple of colors that I got that are not particularly new, but I had a really hard time finding them. Like quinacridone gold, wherever I looked, it was always sold out. So that's another one that I'm like really excited to swatch because it's gonna be a make it or break it kind of color. And maroon brown, I have just a few. Oh, and there's one color that I'm not gonna get, and it's zinc white. Because I don't really have a use for it. Even the titanium white is not really strong. It's kind of light. Like it's not like oh, not even in camera. It's not even watercolor opaque. It's a watercolor perhaps semi-opaque or semi-transparent. And I don't expect any watercolor to be like fully opaque, because that's not the point. But as far as opaque watercolors go, I feel like the titanium white should be more opaque. So I'm not gonna bother with the zinc white, because who needs it? Who needs a fully transparent white? Not me. I got water for that. Water is there for the transparency. So all in all, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors to swatch total. Do I have a little... Oh yeah, okay, they're already set up. I have little bits of black paper for the shimmery colors too. Really fun colors. You are so organized. Am I? Am I really that organized? You haven't seen the rest of it. You only get a very small glimpse of a space that I've, made tidy on purpose. Because there are other spots that I have a lot of work to do. Oh, dang it. I forgot to wet the... Come here. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, I'm fascinated. This is so cool. This is a mix of blue and red. It's magic. Ah, oh, such a beautiful, like, forest green, evergreen kind of color. Oh, that's exciting. And you can get it so dark. Oh, that's cool. Isn't it really nice? I find that, I mean, in this case, Rosa did a really good job, but with a lot of sets, I'm always disappointed by their greens. Some ranges have like very few greens, and they're all like in the same kind of, like hue. And you're just like, yeah, okay, but where's my dark green? Where's my yellow green? Where's my moody green? Where's my, so bright I don't even know where I'm going to use it green? Yeah, the royal green, this green is, so it's phthalo blue. Hold on. It's phthalo blue. Let me get the other sheet. Do I have phthalo blue swatch? Oh yeah, I do. So it's like Yeah, it's like if you mix the English red and the blue, or like, hold on, which, this is column 3, so it's bright blue and something like English red mixed together, and it makes that green. Like, how cool! That's so cool! I kind of want to try the mix after swatching. Might do that. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside so it can dry. Does it fit in here? Yeah. Okay, cool. And now I have royal blue. So that's the PB1. I have to have that one. The green, yeah, seriously. I think it's one of the newer releases. Because if it had not been, I would have definitely gotten it when I first got a, you know, like 12 pans to try them out. I'm a sucker for like deep dark green. I draw a lot of trees and plants, so it's a really handy color to have. I feel like there should be a drum roll here. Oh my gosh. I can't do a drum roll, but picture one. Drum roll. Ta-da! So it looks like, it doesn't look like much on the pan, but from looking at this pan, the way the paint presents itself dry, you can tell that it's probably a transparent color because this is so dark, and that it's probably quite strong in pigment because it is so dark. Like if you compare it to a color like this one here, the other royal blue, you know this one is gonna be like a very different kind of color, like more opaque because it's not dark. You don't have the transparency of the paint making it dark, and also it comes across right away as being a much less deep color. Yeah, something like that. Now, how am I supposed to name this one? They're both named Royal Blue. I'm gonna name it Royal Blue 2. It's not gonna be the same pigment info, but still. Alright, swatching, making sure I'm in frame. It's pre-wet. I'm gonna use the, since I have it out, the big brush. I didn't realize that there's a transparency makes it look dark in the pan. Yeah, that's something you can sort of observe with all the deep colors. Hold on, I'm gonna paint this and I can show some other examples. But it's always a good way to tell. Oh, dude, look at that. Oh, wow. It's so nice. I'm trying really hard to, like, I'm racking my brain to think of, is there a similar color? And I know this one is not perfectly light fast, but it's a, I can't think of a similar pigment anywhere. Like, it has this warmth, like the red leaning aspect that you would have in ultramarine, but it's so much more deep, a bit like Indanthrene blue, but Indanthrene blue in comparison looks really dull. Oh, it's striking. I think it's the most blue I have ever blued. It is. I don't think the camera possibly showcases the color really well. like the specific hue of it. I think it looks a bit more green, but it's this really like the, you know, the sort of purple lean that ultramarine blue can have if you use it really strongly. It has that color. I don't think I've never had any other paint with that pigment. I think the only other brand that I can think of that has it is White Knights. And well, the situation is that most people have stopped importing White Knights, so good luck finding it. And if any other brand has it, like for example, if Old Holland has it, they're so expensive and hard to find that I never really got it before. But this is really cool. Oh, exciting. Okay, now I have, we go from this super exciting color to Prussian blue, which is a beautiful blue, mind you, but it is not special. I can see the reddish in it on my, oh, awesome. I'm glad. I'll try to, when it's dry, perhaps I'll take photos and post them on the Discord, try to kind of showcase it better. It's definitely the color that in my mind I associate with, you know, what we're used to seeing as royal blue. This super deep, slightly reddish, like intense blue. The other one, they should have named it like periwinkle. The interest of Prussian blue, well, I mean, with royal blue, both of them are not the most light fast pigments, supposedly, but you can see it's also really dark in the pan. It's going to be super transparent. Oh yeah, I wanted to show other examples of transparent colors. I think this one is it. So if you take a color like Aureolin, in this case, which is a not genuine, it's a PY150, so nickel azo yellow kind of color. But this is how it paints. This is how it looks in the pan. And if you compare it to like another yellow color that's a more opaque, like this one, like if you know that these two are yellow, the fact that this one is so much darker in the pan usually indicates that it's going to be much more transparent than this one. Like it's not a foolproof rule, but it's a good indication of what to expect from a color. And it's the same, like I think if you look at like PG7, it's the emerald one. It's always really, really dark in the pan. Like you can almost, like if it wasn't for the bits on the side, you couldn't tell this is a green. So you know it's going to be like transparent and intense. Whereas if you have another color like this bright green, it's not going to be the same depth of color for sure. Even if it's going to be quite transparent, you're not going to be able to go like really dark with the color because it looks like that in a pan, you know. It's really hard to have any paint in a pan and have it go darker than what it looks like in the pan. Good luck, because that's something that happens. And I'm rambling. Prussian blue. I like a good Prussian blue. For such a, you know, a ubiquitous color, some of them are really lackluster. Like, how do you end up with a sort of weak Prussian blue? Makes no sense. It's incredibly... Oh, well, you're welcome. It's something you sort of eventually pick up on just from using paints and looking at them, you know. I love that Prussian blue. It's hard to see. I don't think I'll be able to show it on camera, but a dry pan of something like Prussian blue always has a bit of a sheen on it. Like something that reminds me of a oil slick a bit. Just a little bit of that. Oh, that's cool. It's truly like the royal blue, but with a more yellow lean. What I like of these super deep transparent blue color is that they mix amazing greens. If you like to paint with greens, you kind of want to have the intense transparent blues to, you know, make your greens. My newbie brain looked at the yellow and thought, nah, that's too brown. It doesn't paint out brown though when you paint it. Like, sure, this is a real in, so that's PY 150. It's its own kind of color. Like, it's not as brightly yellow as other yellows you might paint with. It's both like super intense and vibrant, but kind of looks a bit muted too, weirdly enough. So it's a nut color, but it definitely doesn't paint the way it looks in the pan, you know. Another one that's usually quite similar is the next one I'm going to try, which I'm super excited to try. It's quinacridone gold. I've been wanting to try that one ever since Rosa became available, but it's always been like out of stock. So I'm thinking either everyone hopes it's gonna be amazing. It's much lighter than I would have expected, huh? Look at that. Pigments are in there. Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's gonna be really peculiar. The genuine quinacridone gold from Daniel Smith, like the dry paint looks kind of a bit like this one, like more orangey a bit, but like super dark. So this looks really light, which is unexpected. So I really wonder why this one was so unavailable. Is it that good? I hope it is. Oh, the Queen Gold of Roman Schmal's Queen Gold is also like a really dark color in the pan. So this one has 2 yellows and 1 red in the mix. It's a very unusual assortment of pigments to make a Queen Gold hue, from what I've seen. I wonder if I've ever seen even any of these in any kind of Queen Gold hue. I like the pan color, but it doesn't look gold to me. But it is lovely. You mean this one, like Queen Gold? I'm really curious to try it out. I can dig up the Roman Schmal one after. I think it's going to be very different. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I can see it. I can see why they gave it that name, but yeah, it's very different. It's more of a sort of flat orange color rather than the depth of a Queen Gold. Where do I have swatches of the... they're far. Right. Oh, I like it. It's so warm and soft. It's really pretty. Okay, so that's the most excellent Queen Gold from Roman Schmal, which is one of my favorite versions. It's this one here. Can you see? Like, it's not that far off, but it's just a whole lot more even and orange. Like, this one kind of dilutes what feels like more yellow, and then when you add more into the mass tone, it gets more orange. While this one has a more like even hue. Like, this more light part feels like it's the same color as this but diluted, whereas this color doesn't necessarily feel like it's the same as this one but diluted. Do you know what I mean? Kind of rambling, and it's maybe hard to see on the camera, but I love this one. I have quite a few pans backed up because it's discontinued pigment. It's the PO48. It's like the magic here, and they don't make it anymore. Your rambling made sense. I'm glad. At the very least, there's that. I love to ramble about paints. I love it a lot, but every once in a while I get a bit too aware that for a lot of people I know, they wouldn't get, like, it would make no sense. Even like the someone who's never really painted on an artistic sort of level, like, everyone has had experience with paint, on some level, whether it's for, repainting a home or, painting furniture or whatnot. But I feel like with watercolor, you kind of need to explain a lot of context if you want to share related information with someone who has not painted in watercolor before. Like, if I were to talk watercolor to my dad, I would have a lot of context to sort of share first. So this is maroon brown. Oh, I'm excited. This is a really interesting mix of two transparent pigments. It's so it's royal brown here with their violet. So it's this violet here with this one. It's gonna make the maroon brown here. It's a detail, but I love that the company is named Rosa, because that fits so nicely on the short side of pans. Even half pans, it would fit nicely there. Sometimes you stumble upon a brand that has a sort of complicated name to write on a pan, and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna manage? It's supposed to be granulating, but I wonder what's granulating in there, because PBR 25 is usually quite smooth, and then PV 23 is also quite a smooth color. Oh, ooh, that's nice. such a deep, like, inky color. That reminds me, need a new Sharpie. Yeah. They're, I don't know, I mean, I think Sharpies are one of those pens that you can sort of find anywhere, regardless of where you live in the world. But I tend to get mine like at the dollar store when they start running dry. I can have like two, it's a set of two like this one at the dollar store for like, I don't know, $4 or something. And I usually have like 5 or 6 Sharpies going at the same time. I just keep them all in the same bin and I grab, the first one when I need one. And when one runs out, I just bin it and I, pick the next one. This is violet black. It's my last sort of normal quote-unquote color that I have to swatch. Then I have gold, silver, and bronze. And I also have a pan here that I don't know what it is. And I'm super excited to compare it to their gold. Because this one was sent to me from a little artisan paint maker, Artsy Oubliette. And I can't tell if they used like a Rosa branded pan to put their own color in there, or if it's actually a pan of the Rosa gold. And I really don't have any clues because it smells like clove, but that could be just from hanging out with the other paints from that paint maker. So I finally have like the genuine Rosa gold and I'll be able to compare, which I'm really excited. Did you know that brush soap removes? Oh, it does! I didn't know that. I've mostly removed Sharpie marks with rubbing alcohol. I have washed a lot of dirty half pans not long ago, but I used a dish soap and I think the writing faded a bit, but I don't think it cleaned off entirely. Those pens are this. Yeah, I really like the beveled edges, to be honest. It did from that cup. Though perhaps it's because it's ceramic too. Perhaps like ceramic doesn't keep alcohol marks well anyway, which is what makes it such a good, palette material. Because the staining paints don't stain on that, usually. It's just a cheap little cup that came with the coffee machine. Why do people make so many awesome cups and mugs? Why is it impossible to, like, not have too many mugs? We don't even drink in glasses here. Like, we skipped the glasses. We've never had glasses. We've always drank out of mugs. And even then, like, every few years I have to like declutter the mugs because we end up with too many of them. And I don't know. Like, do they like they reproduce in the cupboard? It's like mice. You close the door and then you when you open it again, you have more cups in there, more mugs. Just an endless supply of mugs. Yeah, that makes sense that it was ceramic. Yeah, I think that might have been it. Like the brush soap is good to remove stains, so that action combined with the surface that's really not porous. But that's good to know, though. I'm glad I know. Fellow mug, dude, I have mugs for everything, okay? I have just on my desk here, and not for drinking, like for putting brushes and pens and whatnot. I have four mugs that I can see. I have another two on the side for storing more stuff. I have one there too. I have three behind me, and I have at least one on the other desk. And those are just the mugs that I was like, oh, I don't have any more place in the cupboard. I gotta find a use for these. I gotta put pencils or pens in them or something, like, because I can't fit them in the cupboard. Or because there are sometimes, I like for drinks, I like big mugs. And when a mug is just a bit too standard size for me, I usually transform it into a pencil holder or something, like a catch-all on my desk. I have so many, and I had to get rid of like I had to cut my collection in half not too long ago, and I still have like mugs everywhere. I love mugs. I'm annoyed that there's so many good mugs out there, and that I don't have the space to keep all of them. I'm gonna have to run. I hope you have a good rest of the afternoon. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a good rest of your day. And yeah, the video will be available to watch after anyway, if you decide you kind of want to look at the rest of it, perhaps. But yeah, thank you so much, and have a great day. And I'll try to still get you the link to the Etsy, I think, even if you found out who it was. But yeah. Thank you so much for keeping me company. I'm excited to switch this one to violet black. Oh, that's so nice. It has a bit of that perline violet mood to it. But it's a 3 pigment granulating color, I think. Yeah. It's like a granulating perline violet. Oh, before I forget, maybe I have an EV. Remind me that it's oh, cuddle your cat day. Oh no, not a pretext to cuddle my cats more. Certainly gonna do that after the stream. Every day is cuddle your cat day. How are you supposed to resist those little fuzzy, cutesy creatures of destruction? This is gold. Oh, it's definitely not the same hue as the other one, so I guess the other one is truly a custom color from Artsy Oubliette, so I'll be able to... Oh, I'm so glad I'll be able to put it like with the other Artsy Oubliette paints and not have to... Unless it's bronze. Oh, if it's bronze, I'm screwed. That would have been a really early release, though. Look at that. That's a beautiful gold. It's quite light, quite yellow. Usually shimmer paints don't have any kind of pigment info. I never know with shimmer paints just how quickly they're gonna re-wet, but this one doesn't seem to be too hard. What a shame that shimmery colors are kind of so hard to use in illustration. I never know where to put them, but I kind of want to put them everywhere. But so pretty. It's a really nice sort of transparent gold. What a beautiful shimmer. Perhaps I put a bit too much water. Perhaps next one I'm not going to put any water first. Okay, so no pre-wetting for the silver. I'm excited to see the silver. Usually silver is, in terms of shimmery paints, I tend to really like the basics and then the really odd ones. I checked the Coliro ones not long ago, the sparkly ones, and I really like them. And I also did the big swatch swatchathon of my Finetech Coliro, two brands, and I swatched all of my Finetech, and I realized that I don't really enjoy the colors that are not, you know, the basics of silver, gold, and like copper. Like they're sort of quote unquote weirder colors. I don't really like them. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna try and sell most of my Finetech paints. Or at least try to sell them. And I'm gonna see about keeping the ones that I love and use, and also using the Coliro ones that are, in my opinion, more interesting. I don't really like when the shimmery paints have a really dark base hue and then the shimmer on top, because I don't think it looks really good on light paper, and most of the work I tend to do is on light paper. Super easy to get it streaky, and then it kind of looks like nothing until you're at the right angle, which is, you know, the silver seems to be quite a bright, light kind of silver. Like it's quite white in the pan, quite shiny. So these have, one half is the cheap watercolor paper that I use for all the other swatches, and this little bit is black watercolor paper. So yeah, the silver kind of looks like a pearly white on the black paper. I think it's more of like a pearly white than a real silver, but it's nice. Hold on. Sorry, I had to be a DJ for a second. Up. And now the last one is bronze, and I'm super excited because this is the new one from the latest release. And I like that they, you know, released a new shimmery color. I feel like with gold, silver, and bronze, it kind of feels complete. It's the same with the Prismacolor pencils. You know, the coloring pencils. They came out with a bunch of metallics at some point, but the basic range has silver, bronze, and gold. So in my brain, that's nice. In my brain, that's kind of the three colors you need as far as sparkly shimmery paints go. Again, shimmery paints don't really have any pigment info. They don't really have a precise naming or numbering convention for a mica. I've seen like PM, maybe for a pigment mica or powder mica or something, and then a number, but it's not as precise as the pigments for the regular flat colors. Okay, so bronze, Rosa, no pigment, and it's color 802. Sorry. So this one is gonna go with the other Artsy Oubliette, and this one is gonna be swatched. It's such a nice, a fun experience to just work a brush in liquid shimmery paint. Oh, that's nice. It seems to have a bit more of a color to it. I think I might have to repaint the gold swatch, just so I get a version of the swatch that's less watered down. Oh, I forgot to use my, that's not... I tried to keep brushes for shimmery paints and brushes for everything else. And I was using just one of my cheap sort of swatching brush, and I didn't think on it. But usually when I paint other stuff where I have to use shimmery paints at some point, I will switch brushes too, just in case some of the shimmer mica stays in the brush. I don't want mica everywhere, ideally. So yeah, let's see what I can do for the gold one. I should probably wait a bit, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna live dangerously. I think that's a bit better. It's more even with a bit less water. Okay, that's good. Okay, so just gonna sort my stuff a bit. This one to dry out. Now, if I want to try some mixes, I'm just gonna switch around my water balls. My water ball station has two balls like this, so whenever I get one sort of tainted or spoiled with sparkly stuff, I can move it back and use, you know, the other one for now, and later I'll be able to rinse and, you know, refill these. So I won't have like clean water to pre-wet areas, but I'll have you know, shimmer free water at least. Right, so I wanted to try the... What was the green made of? It was PB15 column 3 and PR101. So PR101, that's English red. And the PP15 column 3, that's bright blue. Room blue. What's after? Blue. And there you go, bright blue. And English red, I said. Yeah. Okay, so that's technically the two pigments they have in there. Oh, I need to swatch the pearl green too. There you go. Put this aside for dry. Too dry. Okay. So let's grab some inexpensive but nice enough paper. And then I need something to mix. Here, for what I have to mix, I think I'm gonna go with one of the little cat's dishes that I got not long ago. Like, how freaking cute! And the paws, and then it's a sauce dish. So basically when you put the sauce in here, it reveals a bit more the face of the cat. But that also works with paint. Just gonna give it a light rinse in case there's some dust on there. Dang it. I missed the garbage bin. Right. Everything's in frame. So I'm gonna start with kind of a reference swatch of the gold color. So that's the Earl Green color. It's technically made from these two. I'm really excited to see these two mixed. Well, right away I get more of a neutral. Oh, you can kind of see the green in there. Huh. I mean, it looks more neutral, truly, but there's a slight green, like, hint. So what should I add? A bit more blue? This is confusing. I mean, there's a possibility that the PR101 they used was a different one. Let me check my colors from them. I went with the English red because as far as I know... Oh no, there's this one too. The Caput Mortem? No, I don't... Oh, the burnt sienna maybe? Right, so I went with the English red because that's the first one that I saw was PR101. But yeah, looking at it now, there's a few colors that it could be. One of them is the Caput Mortem, but that's really purple. And it doesn't really make sense that blue plus purple would give me green. Though the burnt sienna is also PR101, and that might be the one. So let's try that one too. Burnt sienna, where are you? Mortem, brown, burnt sienna. Used to be this one here. Gotta say though, the bright blue with the English red, they make for a really interesting, slightly like blue-gray color. Okay, let's try this again. Let's move you to the side just for a second. Cat hair. It's kind of really similar in hue, but perhaps a bit more yellow and transparent, so there's a chance that does the trick to give me that green. Yeah, I think we're getting to it. That's a bit closer, isn't it? That's really interesting. Like how two colors that are, you know, fairly close in hue, the English red and the burnt sienna, they're not that distant in terms of hue. But with this one you get a neutral, and with this one you get a green. That neutral is beautiful, I gotta say. I love it. Oops. I sent water flying. Oh, shoot. It landed on my... Okay, cool. Crisis averted. Also, you know what I was talking about earlier about the color of a pan kind of indicating the transparency of the color? The English red and the burnt sienna, whilst quite close on paper, this one, the paint appears to be more opaque than this one in the pan. Something that I like to do when I end up with like peculiar mixes like this is to try to sort them out with color theory a bit. Let me grab a pencil and post it. Sorry about that. All right, so let's do this one. So technically my blue here, BB15, oops. Haha, you didn't see anything. That's technically like cyan. That one is just a great big blob of cyan, so C. And then if I have cyan, magenta, and yellow, this color, this brown, so brown is basically orange that's a bit muted. So how you make orange here is with magenta plus yellow. So that's your orange, and then if you want to mute it a bit, you add more of that cyan. So all in all, if you mix these two, you end up with a whole lot of cyan and a bit of magenta and yellow. That doesn't really help me. So there's gotta be a fair amount of that yellow in the orange before trying to I'm gonna try some more paint experiments. Alright, so another sheet. I'm gonna need a somewhat neutral yellow and a magenta. So there's not really a perfectly neutral magenta in here. You have a slightly warmer one with something like Madder Rose, and then you have a slightly cooler one with Magenta Rose. I think Opera Rose is possibly the most middle of them, but I'm gonna use the Opera for the sake of accuracy, but it is technically not light fast. And then for the yellow, probably gonna be the Azo Yellow, PR151. Okay. So I said Opera and PY151. Azo Yellow, that's the one, and Opera. And I just want to see if I can figure out how to mix a brown similar to this one using... I need to put my sheet somewhere else because I keep flinging water on it. There you go. That's better. Okay. Again, so my goal color is this sort of burnt sienna. have a good visual of this one. I'm gonna need another mixing dish. This one is not clean. Okay, just give me a sec. That one's good. All right, sorry. I'm sending things flying. All right. So I'm gonna start by mixing an orange. That's perhaps mostly yellow. Also, I'm just gonna indicate, make 3 primaries at the bottom. Let's thing is when I start adding in blue in there, it gets to be green really fast if I have too much yellow. This is not too far. From, you know, a hue that's similar to this one. Not that far off. I might not be able to, you know, get the exact same hue, but it's usually the process that kind of helps me understand colors a bit better. Is to try and, you know, get as close as possible through mixing them. So I like to paint a sort of somewhat diluted swatch here because sometimes I can't really get to the same intensity with my cyan, magenta, yellow mixes. But having this gradient, I can perhaps match a color like to the more diluted section, which usually helps still, you know, to figure it out. it is a lot of noodling. The advantage of this method is that the noodling is limited by the fact that you're only working from 3 colors. So you have your base color, and if you try to add one of the component colors in there and it's not the hue that you want, well, I mean, it's not complicated. The process of elimination, you can try another one of your component colors, and if that's not it, then you only have a third one. It cannot be anything else but these 3. And we know that these 3 can kind of mix just about almost every color, because that's what we use as the base for, you know, print and press. So I think this last mix is really similar in hue to the more washed area of my main swatch, but it doesn't necessarily help me figure out why I get green, truly, because it is mostly blue. Like, if I try to sort of represent it visually, the blue, let's say this is my color. Well, it's 100% cyan. It's just cyan. This is like fully cyan. And then my burnt sienna, in terms of composition, is a teeny tiny bit of cyan, and then the rest of it is a ratio almost 50-50 of, you know, magenta and yellow. So what is tripping me here is that I'm trying to figure out why it makes a green. Like, it has to be that the yellow is more dominant. I don't see what else it could be, because let's say you have a lot of cyan and you add, you know, like some yellow, you have your green, your base green, and then if you have some magenta in it but not past a certain point, it's just gonna mute the color. Plus magenta, it mutes the color. If you have it the other way around, if you have the cyan and then you have mostly magenta, you're gonna get a purple. And then if you add the yellow, it's gonna mute the purple. But I don't have a muted purple, I have a muted green. And mind you, it's not a like an olive green, it's not a yellowish green. It is more of a blue green. So there's a lot of blue. Blue is definitely our main component. But then I guess there's a bit more yellow in the burnt sienna. And then some magenta. So perhaps it would be more like this. Like, that's the yellow, a bit of magenta, and then an extra bit of cyan. And then this one, the English red, definitely has less yellow. It's more pinkish red, so that's why it sort of neutralizes more, I guess. That is some next level color theory. But yeah, I'm thinking if I don't know if I can get the green if I use that one. It would have to be pretty diluted because my color is not super strong in here, but would need a bit more blue. Oops. A lot more blue apparently. And I have to wait and see for the green because it has to dry to be able to see if it matches well. But I think this one matches here, and I think this one is quite close. I really like this neutral though, I gotta say. It is super nice. Alright, that's it for the rabbit hole. I'm gonna put these away. Then I can sort of this is a really not sharp pencil. I need a sharper pencil for this. Did I almost just fall off my chair? Just a little bit. Okay, so these are all Rosa. Ow! Oh, sorry. Ow. I have a problem with my thumb, and sometimes, like, doing nothing special in terms of move, I still manage to sort of pinch up the part that's painful. Okay, so what is the pigment of the opera? PR 122. Then green. What's the that also, like, if you look at the pigment composition, this one is lists the blue first and then the red pigment, so kind of represents well the balance in the mix too. So that's what I'm probably gonna end up doing with this is I might take photos or scan these and then post them on, I usually post these on Patreon for free members. So I might do that for now and reuse the papers as swatch paper. Otherwise I end up with too many of these little papers that I don't really have a real need to keep around, you know. I could only keep the digital images and that's fine. So before I ultimately recycle them, I might just, you know, use them as mix testing papers, and then I don't know. I haven't really found out what to do with my test paper. I might make business card or something. Sorry, perhaps gift tags. My water is really far away, but yeah, sorry, I'm gonna go get it. I don't know why it's such a difficult skill, but drinking water is an underrated skill. I'm not very good at it. I always choke on my water. Why? Alright, sorry. This is such a nice gray. Have about 10 minutes left. Melissa! Hey! Hi! It's nice to see you. I think the swatches have dried sufficiently by now. I think it's possible to go through them and sort of look at all the colors. So I really, really love the golden yellow. It's such a beautiful color. It's PY110. And I really like this kind of yellow. I think it's one of my colors that I always end up getting from all the ranges of paints that I end up getting paints from. It's not, like I say, it's not the most versatile color. Like, I always need kind of a cooler yellow too, but cooler yellow is a color that I don't use a lot. It's mostly if I need some sort of lime green, I'm gonna reach for that yellow, but otherwise, for most of everything else, I prefer to use a warmer yellow. I don't usually have a lot of oranges on my palettes, and I don't think any of these oranges here, there's not that many of them. There's like 1, 2, and 3. They're nice, but they're not my kind of go-to colors. So if I have extra room, I might pick one, but I might just skip them if I put together a limited, like a color with a palette with a limited number of colors, sorry. I quite like this cadmium red medium for a red. Yeah, I'm so sorry, Melissa. It's gonna be still available as a VOD, as a VOD, yeah. But it's like rewatching a stream is not always as fun as being part of it when it happens. I'm sorry. I also really like the Armada Rose in terms of magenta color. It's a bit warm, but I really like it. Then all of their moody colors, like jewel tone colors, are just beautiful. Part of me kind of want to make particular swatches of their quote-unquote granulating colors on like a larger piece of paper with a lot of water so that I can see the effect a lot. I don't see it a lot on like the violet quartz, the nightfall violet, magenta gray. It's kind of more subtle, whereas here on the jade green you can really see the granulation that happens. In terms of like greens that appear to be useful, the green, the olive green are really nice. I like the Aurelian green. It's a fairly unique color. It is nickel iso yellow, so PY 150 and PG7. A good mix. The green quartz is just so nice. Yeah, it's beautiful. That royal green, also really cool. A good cobalt turquoise. This royal blue, I I vote relabel it periwinkle. Just because there's another royal blue. Here. So cerulean blue, also really nice. I would have to have royal blue on my palette. It's just way too pretty. Then possibly a sort of cyan color. It's always a situation where you kind of have to figure out if you want your palette to be versatile or to have the colors that vibe the most with you at that specific moment. And if it's a limited palette, that's a really difficult balance to achieve, I feel like. Because I kind of want to have all the colors, but there's about 100 of them? That's a lot. Yeah, periwinkle, right? It's definitely a periwinkle color. It's not lavender. It's not, or it's this kind of verditor blue color, you know. But royal blue here and royal blue there are really different colors. Like, I really like this azure blue, but... And, like, I want the Aurelian and the Queen Gold as my orange. I think I would put this one as my orange. So that's the golden yellow. Perhaps this Aurelian. And orange, then reds and magenta. Then what's next? It's so difficult. I want all the colors all at once. The indanthrene gray is really interesting. I don't know how this can be a single pigment PB60 color, because it has this really like granulating black kind of part in it. I don't know where it's from, but it's quite interesting. Indigo is pretty, but it's more of a like really deep blue. There are so many colors I love, but when actually painting things... Yeah, that's the difficulty too, right? It's like shimmer paints. Like, shimmery paints are fascinating to look at, but it's so difficult to put them in paintings. If you're trying to be more figurative and perhaps less abstract, or like for calligraphy, they're really easy to use as well. Like, you don't really need a justification for them. But when you draw an illustration, it's perhaps a bit more difficult to justify having a super sparkly color somewhere, you know? Or maybe I shouldn't try to justify it so much and just put the color anyway. Who cares? But yeah, that's difficult. Like, there are so many different approaches to how you set up a palette that there's not actually a good and a bad one. Like, Is it a palette that's for versatility? So you kind of need the basics in there. You know, split primary, perhaps a couple of earth hues, perhaps a dark neutral or a black. So that's the versatile palette, but you kind of have to mix every color you need. And then there's also the making a palette that matches what you want to paint. Like I've done that quite often where, let's say I know that for a specific painting, for example, it's going to be a beach scene. So I'm going to have sand, I'm going to have turquoise water. So I'm going to get cobalt turquoise right away. I'm going to get like a buff titanium if I have it, or perhaps this raw sienna or the golden ochre for the sand. And I know I'm probably not going to use like a magenta in my painting, or very lightly. So my painting is mostly going to be like a sand color, a turquoise sea color, and I might reuse the sand color with perhaps a darker brown for a palm tree, and then my cobalt with perhaps a yellow for the tree, or green with the, like you end up painting a full painting and there are colors that you didn't use. You just combined a bunch of convenience colors together to create the whole scene. And it's cohesive because you still work with a limited selection of colors, but they were really calculated choices because of the scene you wanted to paint, if that makes sense. Where you didn't have to mix as many colors. Like you could reach for a color straight from the pan, but still limited because you don't want a painting to look like a pizza, like an all-dressed pizza. I'm rambling, but I think you guys get it. So then when you kind of can work in these two very different ways, it's a bit difficult to set up a palette, which is kind of why I end up with like full ranges of paints. And then when I want to paint something, I will, take out some colors and roll with that. So yeah. I've seen a lot of painters they always use the same, like, let's say 12 colors. And it works. But it kind of, for me, personal opinion, for me, it feels really samey after a while. And perhaps that's just the artist always reaching for the same mixes over and over again. But I feel like it at some point they stop pushing what they can do with these colors. I'm sorry. And it's kind of not my jam. Like there are some colors you could never paint a tropical a tropical scene with. Like there's not the right colors in there. Like you can't mix a turquoise color with. So I just don't know how. I don't have to know how. I mean, I could just focus on how I do it and just do it myself. But yeah, sometimes I get curious of when I see other people and I'm trying to understand how their brain works. And I just can't figure it out. Full set syndrome is real, especially with these, right? Because these are, like, there's not that many of them and they're relatively inexpensive for good quality. Full set syndrome sometimes is really cut off short by the price point of some paints. Like, oh my gosh, when you start seeing that cobalts and cadmiums sell for an arm and a leg, it's like, oh, ooh. And then you're like, oh, but Winsor Newton, you have your fake cadmiums, and they're just about the same price as the real cadmiums. And it's like, you know what? Eh. We get comfortable with certain colors, absolutely. But I don't know, isn't it kind of boring after a bit? I would want to switch it up. Like, I really like being able to adjust the color selection for the scene I need. Like, if I need some really deep dark greens for whatever painting I'm doing, well, I'm probably gonna get like a Aurelian and like an indigo, because I know I can get like a super dark moody green. Like, I would be hard pressed if all I had was ultramarine and I don't know, like a cadmium yellow. Like, yeah, you can perhaps mix some black into it to get it dark, but it's not. I don't know. I don't have to know. I can just keep doing my thing, I guess. So yeah, all in all, I think the Rosa paints are really, really nice. It's a really interesting selection of colors, I would say, because they they are one part basics, and the other part is like more like special colors to this brand itself. Like they didn't follow the main trends of, like, there's not a bajillion tints, like colors with white in their range. There's a few of them, like the sort of main ones, but they're also quite different from the others you've seen. Like the Naples rose is interesting. The Naples yellow tint is also interesting. The mint is really strong. The coral, I don't necessarily think it's a pastel color or a tint color when I look at it right away. The royal blue, and then they have all these super interesting granulating colors. Oh, that's okay. I love very bright jewel tones, but in real life, most things don't look like that. Well, that's why we paint, right? Otherwise, we'd take photos or, I don't know, something else. Auntie Patience had to leave. But yeah. How did the moon landing go? I don't follow. The only moments I follow what they do in space is either when the NASA has a rover going somewhere, or when Elon Musk has a rocket that explodes, and then I can point and laugh at him. That's basically it. Oh no! Who sent it? Who sent the Hakuto R? I guess it was a land. What was it? What did they send? Oh, it's a Japanese Moodlander. Oh, it's the third time it just keeps crashing. Oh, like it crashes on the moon. Well, they lost telemetry. Yeah, okay. Ugh. At least, I mean, these are not manned, right? It's only a robot. I hope. Yeah, unmanned, hopefully. Yeah, the landing was way too fast. Oh. They need to design it so it's like a big sturdy ball, so that when it lands too fast, it doesn't break apart. It just like craters in. Unmanned. Okay, phew. Whew. Like we are hopefully way beyond sending living creatures in space to die. Hopefully. What a grim era of humanity, seriously. Or perhaps if it was spherical, it would just land and roll. That could work. I think you would have heard about it if a manned mission had crashed. Well, I mean, if it had crashed in the last 2 hours, I don't think I would have heard about it, but I would have heard about it as soon as I hopped off stream. The only manned missions that I would possibly not feel the saddest to hear that they crashed Um, they don't crash. They don't go in space really either. So, yeah. I live in a protective bubble sometimes. It's such a bummer though because it's really expensive, right? Like to build up any kind of space thingamajig, whether it's a rover, a lander, a satellite, or some of these projects are particularly amazing. Like when they sent out, a fully unmanned uh, probe or whatever to what was it? Was it to go to Hubble's and switch out like the mirrors or something? Like something really interesting that you're like, dude, the potential for it to go wrong is really high. And if it goes wrong, um, we are kind of screwed. But I think did they manage to do it fine? Anyway, it's just like sending the rover to Mars. Like how freaking cool was that? And then I watch horror movies set in space, and I'm like, yep. So our chances are either AI gets us or some sort of space creature gets us. Got that. Got it. There's one horror movie set in space that I watched that I kept thinking like that this is such a stupid idea. That it's something we would probably do, but oh my gosh, is it stupid? Like, what a lack of foresight. I think it's a movie called Life. But basically, like, um, if I remember right, the really basic premise is that they figure out that there's some sort of like really like prototype life thing, and they decide they want to see if they can grow it. So to be quote unquote safe, they're like, okay, if we do this, we're gonna do it in space on a space station. So if things go wrong, we can have fail safes to deal with that. And yeah, guess what? It's a horror movie, so hold on. That blue in the bottom right corner. Which one? This one? I mean, it's not royal blue for sure. Oh yeah, if you had to rename it, what color would you give it? It's gonna be great when there's sort of the technology to have less of a delay on live streams. Awkward silences for the win, I guess. I wouldn't call it royal blue. They have two colors labeled royal blue. One is much more aptly named royal blue, while this one could definitely be renamed to something else. But it's already weird in Ukrainian, but it's also like a bit of a translation sort of mix up. This is the other royal blue, and it's much more of a royal blue kind of color. This one is more of a periwinkle or a like a forget-me-not kind of color. It is forget-me-not season, and I love these little flowers, and I can never find seeds for them. I want seeds because I want to throw them into the wind and have like forget-me-not flowers everywhere. Yeah, that one is royal blue. Exactly. That's royal blue. That's one of their more recent release, and it is named Royal Blue, but they also had this Royal Blue previously, and it's not very fitting with the general understanding of what's the hue of Royal Blue. A translation issue. You know how you have some color names in some languages that don't really translate to anything. I think that's kind of that. I planted forget-me-nots last year, but they didn't come back. Wait, they're supposed to come back. They're perennials, whatever. Is that the name of it? The plants that come back every year. Oh, that's such a bummer. I only know Cornflower Blue from Fight Club. It's such a pretty color. I learned earlier today that the cornflower, I think, was a sort of dog whistle for the bad guys in World War II. I was like, wait, what? Hold on, I'm sorry. But yeah. Like how can they keep on like spoiling fun stuff? Stupid bad guys. Like they made like all the Nordic runes less enjoyable, and like the manji. Like you cannot have those symbols that are like centuries old anymore because they've been associated with the bad guys. And it's like, but these meant something before the bad guys came along and co-opted them. But yeah, I'm super bummed. Yeah, definitely. I have one little weed here that is keeps coming back, and I'm super happy. It's what's it called? It's like bindweed. It's sort of a teeny tiny version of a white morning glory flower, and it makes me so happy. It's so cute. It has the tiniest like white or slightly pink. We had hardly any snow, but some super cool tips. I mean, they come back here. They're almost like a weed, the forget-me-nots. It's really hard to get them to not grow. So I don't know what happens. Do you think something could have eaten them? Like perhaps the roots are super tasty. And also, like, I found a somewhat of a silver lining to the fact that I don't have any cat visitors this year. The whatever little catnip plants that every year would try to grow and then get eaten. Well, nothing's eating them now. So they're kind of growing, and I can, grab a leaf or two to give to my cats. Usually, the visitors, they eat all of the catnip plants that try to grow. They eat them to the like to the root. So they come back every year, but yeah, they never grow much taller than a few inches usually. Possibly the lady I bought them from. That's possible. Maybe she gave you some sort of variant that does not come back, which would really suck. It's June, come on, cats. Seriously. I'm so bummed. I keep my my spreadsheet of cat visitors, and I have something like 8 columns, one per cat. And most of them, like, they don't see any action. Like my Three Stooges visitors, they're still on vacation. The tortoiseshell that used to come by, we think that something might have happened to her human. He is an older gentleman. So perhaps something happened and he's not at his apartment anymore, so therefore someone took the cat too. Or I don't know, but we don't see the cat and we don't see the human much. And then the other visitors, well, some of them I just don't see at all. And some of them are really casual. The only one that's somewhat of a regular is not particularly friendly. He's really happy to get snacks, but I can't pet him and I can't really interact with him. So that's a bummer. I have some inside chicken wire to protect from rabbit, or some not. Neither came back. Oh, that's weird. Maybe she gave you some sort of weird forget-me-not that doesn't come back, which kind of misses the point of forget-me-nots. You're supposed to come back too. The cats, the flowers, everything's supposed to come back. I see some people around here with huge, like a few meters by a few meters swaths of forget-me-nots on their front lawn or something. And I just want to get in there with a shovel and steal like a bunch of them. I'm like, where did you get the seeds? Where did you get the seeds? I've never seen seeds for these. It's always seeds or bulbs for plants that you're like, eh. What about chamomile? Can I get like that fake chamomile plant that's really cute and smells really good? And that's like a weed that grows like everywhere but here. She said it would come back, but I lost all but one of my roses. Oof. Oh, that's odd. I would possibly not go back to that particular vendor if possible. There's something weird. Something dodgy. Oh, you know that if my Three Stooges ever come back, I'm gonna throw a party. And I'm gonna yell, and I'm gonna cry, and I'm gonna have all the emotions, and people are gonna think I'm bonkers. But no, I'm just a very dying cat lady. We will all throw a party. Seriously, I'm gonna spam so many photos and like videos and terrible things badly shot because I'm way too emotional. Maybe. I fully expect a waterfall photo good. I still can't bring myself to hope that they come back. I don't want to build up any kind of expectations because should something make it that they kind of extend their vacation for much, much longer, I don't think I'll be able to deal with the heartbreak and the ruined expectations. Cats, am I right? Cats. All right. Well, I think I'm gonna go. I have other things that I need to do too. But yeah, it was really nice to see you guys, Auntie Patience earlier, and then Melissa and Otto. I'm really happy I've been able to chat with you guys. Haven't seen Garfield in ages. You saw him the other day, right? Well, I mean, like a few weeks ago. Like when you thought he was gone and then he was like, cuckoo, I'm here. Garfield. The quintessential orange cat name. Oh, it's okay, Otto. Like I said, like there's never any mandatory aspect to these live stream. Like I never know. I send you the info, but I'm like I don't want to give the impression that you have to be there absolutely. So yeah, so truly, like if you can come, that's awesome. But also, if that's not possible, I get it. The duality of really wanting your friend to show up, but also understanding that they might be too busy. Anyway, um, yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I will probably have one of these next Thursday again. I was talking to Mr. E, and I might be able to do the streams even if he's here because of the thingamajig with like the bus driver strikes and whatnot. But he doesn't have as many meetings anymore, so I won't be too much of a bother if I stream. I was on to it. Seriously, me too. Me too. One day it will be in person, one day, and we will cause so many chaos to the local sweets shop. My schedule change is going to be harder for me. Oh, okay. Okay. Like I said, still gonna keep the videos available for members. So if there's a topic that you particularly want to watch the video, it's gonna be available. But yeah, it's a bit difficult to find a schedule that works for everyone because some people are like in Australia, in the UK, and then on the West Coast, and I'm on the East Coast, so not easy. But yep, have a good rest of your day, guys, or a good night, and see you all perhaps this Saturday, or if not, in another future stream. And yep, thank you again for the stuff that I did here. I'll try to take photos and share them somewhere, but yeah. For now, I am gonna go do the rest of my stuff for today. All right, bye guys. Bye 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 bye.